your team. And since this is a semi-final match, there will be a new motion. Remember that. Kindly permit me to welcome the inspector so that we pick the next motion and then we can proceed. Alright, so the motion for this match is this house believes that ending poverty requires systematic change rather than charity. This house believes that ending poverty requires systematic change rather than charity. Thank you. I hope that both teams have the motion. We can now proceed. Thank you so much, Inspector, for the service. We can now proceed to welcome one representative of each school to select the side they will be playing this motion on. Guys. Opposition is MUHATO, GS MUHATO, and then TTC GACUBA 2 is proposition. Judges, I hope you have that on your sheet. So we will give you 3 minutes to quickly prepare for that side of the motion. Coaches, you are invited to speak with your team. Right after the 3 minutes, we will close the time of practice. So while you are preparing, permit me to run you through some cardinal parts of the debate rules. All students and teachers are encouraged to behave accordingly, respect each other, and respect the proceedings. Debaters, there is no need, even coaches, there is no need to approach the judges unless you have a printed evidence. Failure to comply will make you to lose some marks. Also, POI is not allowed in the first minute or the last minute. Those minutes are protected. No POI is allowed after the speaker has finished their speech or presentation. POI or POS is only for 15 seconds. And we encouraged both teams to ask POI and also to accept POI. Not asking and not accepting POI can also reduce your points. Another key rule, no pointing finger. We want this debate to be more about ideas, not about physical fight or showing some anger. No name calling. Call the position that a debater is playing. For example, the first proposition speaker said, and then you can make your point, rather than calling names. So the format in terms of timing has changed. From 8 minutes now we'll be playing 5 minutes for the first speaker, 4 minutes for the second speaker, 3 minutes third speaker, and also 2 minutes for the reply speech. Remember, in the reply speech there is no POI. Keep that in mind. Also, kindly permit me to talk about POS. Sometimes you might be speaking on the floor and there's a point of information raised, but you as the speaker may not have the answer. Your colleague that is seated can raise their hand for point of support and they can answer that question. It's only for 15 seconds. Remember that. So thank you. I think we have exhausted our 3 minutes. We would now move into the debate. Remember to introduce yourself, at least so that the judges can know who is speaking. Let me welcome to the podium our first proposition speaker to take the floor. First proposition speaker. Do you need a microphone?
Thank you, the chairperson, respected judges, opposition side, proposition side, plus the house at large. My name is Ganeza Brasio. I'm the first speaker from proposition side. We are here to strongly propose the motion which states that this house believes that ending poverty requires a systemic change rather than charity. We cannot carry out our session without first understanding the key terms in the motion. The first one is about ending poverty. According to the United Nations, on its SDG goals 1, it states that ending poverty refers to the achieving of income and access to resources to everyone. The next one is about charity. Charity, according to the Oxford English Dictionary of Advanced Learners, it is defined as charity is a voluntary aid, donation or service provided to alleviate families from the poor condition. That's what we call charity. I cannot give you a charity when you are a poor. Now, that's not what we are talking about. The next one is about require. To require is something that we need. We need to do something. If I require pens, I need a pen. So, do we need charity or we need systematic change? That's what we want to bring on the table. We are strongly proposing this motion because poverty is caused by structural inequality, not just lack of resources. What you can say, having poverty, it is in the unstructured programs. When the country has programmed or has made a system of building this and this, the country will not get poverty or there is no poverty in that. For example, we are talking about in Qatar as one of the richest countries in the world. They made a system to say that all the resources in the world are owned by the government. That's the system they've built. It's the system they've built. They are saying that everything must do this and it is productive. That's one of the most countries which is successful. That's what we're talking about. Now the next one is about systematic policy reforms increase long-term economic empowerment. So here, when we are dealing with donation, I can give you like 2 million. If there is no plan, what can you do? Dear audience, what can you do with 500,000 when you don't have a plan? Nothing you can do. You can just say that I'm going to do this and this because you've just got that money. But if it is a system you've done and it is built by the government, can say that we are going to give you like 2 million because of the plan is there, then you can plan and then get more profit than just giving you money without nothing to do. If I give you money, what can you do with it when it is not planned? That's what we are bringing on the table. Another thing, according to the UNPD, Bora's family lifted over 28 million in Brazil. But after giving them that money, people in Brazil which were helped by this family, they were living in a good condition for few years. It was as it was indicated by the UN report, showed that after 3 years they went back on how they were. But thank you. I rest my case.
For his remarks, we will now call up the first opposition speaker to take the debate on.
Good afternoon, dear. Good afternoon, dear judges, opposers, proposers, and the House at large. First of all, dear judges, thank you for the time you are giving me to introduce myself. My name is UMUBANO David, and I'm from the team opposition. Dear judges, allow me to first refute on what the proposer side have said. These people are talking about long-term economic empowerment. But dear judges, if a person is starving and you're saying that you're going to set long-term reforms requirements which are going to spend long years, and then dear judges, how are you going to save this person who is starving? A person who is starving, who is about to die, needs food right now, needs food immediately. Dear judges, these people are talking about long-term reforms, but we are fighting against poverty, which needs the best immediate solution. Dear judges, these people are confusing this thing. Preventing poverty requires an immediate solution, not a long-term reform. Dear judges, allow me to continue with my points. Let me first express the key terms of this portion. Dear judges, let's first understand what is systematic change. If we mean systematic change, we are meaning long-term reforms in social and economic growth. We are also meaning what we call charity. These are voluntary assistance such as food, shelter, and medical care. This will mean that poverty is lacking of basic needs. That's what they have said for. These basic needs, if a person loses it, there is dips which may occur. There is also this person who is needing survival because he or she is in poverty. That is, our team believes that charity is the practical and immediate tool that is better than a systematic solution. Yes, hello?
Thank you, the current speaker. I would like to inquire from you that you are talking about someone who is dying. We are taking an example of Rwanda after the 1994 genocide. What did the government of Rwanda did? Establish the long-term goals instead of establishing the short-term goals. Thank you.
Thank you, dear speaker, for bringing me in Rwanda. After bringing me in Rwanda, now I start triggering. Now, I'm going to talk about Rwanda, my origin country. This speaker is talking about Rwanda. After genocide, Rwanda could not save people in long-term reforms only. Instead, they first did what? They first give them food, because there were people who are losing their families. There were people who are losing their families. If you have lost your family, you have lost your neighbors, you are starving, and they are going to tell you, wait for 2 years, we give you food. Are you going to continue living? That is possible. And then I'm only to continue with our side. World Food Program provides emergency food assistance worldwide. This emergency food is saving people's lives. This is to mean that we should accept that charity is the first solution to preventing poverty. And then the reason that includes that millions of people saved from starvation during cities after this program of World Food Program. The other reason is that there is support for refugees. And then let's take an example from people who are in Congo. Congo, there is wars. There is M23 which is fighting with FMDC. And then are you going to tell these people from Congo who are starving because of wars, oh, wait for 2 years, 3 years, I'll give you food? Imagine. This person is needing food right now. This person is needing food not tomorrow, not next tomorrow, but right now. That's what you're supporting. And then remember that charity-based humanitarian assistance is essential to protect lives when long-term solutions are being developed. This is to mean that systematic change are not the one which we should support. Instead, we should support charity solution which we are basing on. Before I arrest my case, I would like to know, can people wait years for systematic change while suffering today? And then who will feed and support the poor during emergency without charity? So that just allow me to arrest my case, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. First opposition speaker, can you permit me to welcome the second proposition speaker to take the floor? Over. Because you were needed last minute of time.
Excuse me, dear audience. We know you are excited, we know you are supportive, but please respect this debate, okay? Keep quiet. If you want to support a point made, do this. Only this, no sounds, this is the only sound we want. And not too much as well, okay? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that caution.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, sir, in the chair. Two competitive chambers plus respected judges. I'm called Kwizera Janvier, the second speaker from the side proposition, and we are definitely standing in the proposition of this motion 100%. But we believe that charity is a noble impulse. It is like a ventilation tube in a broken engine. It prevents it from exploding, but it does not prevent the underlying issue that makes the broken engine to not work. Actually, the charity is helping people during this day, provides with them the shelter this night. But what about tomorrow? What about the next generation? Here I've got the circle of poverty. Dear judges, look well at this. The child grows in poverty, lacks opportunities, and other things that are not even symptoms of like hunger, lack of shelter. Those are symptoms of poverty. But what are the causes of poverty? Lack of jobs, poor education, growing in poverty. Absolutely, we are promoting growing in poverty when we give children food to eat today instead of giving them opportunities to work for their food that they will eat tomorrow. And allow me to continue. I have got testimony. Allowed?
I like your argument, dear speaker, but I'm here to ask you something. If you are hungry today and you want to live or you want to end poverty, and someone is going to tell you to go and dig a garden of 5 miles, are you able to do without eating? Instead, can you tell me, can you first eat or you can first go and work?
That's a great question, but I have got a couple of examples. It's a VU program. The poor population of Rwanda go there and work, and then after they get something. Absolutely, we are not fostering the poverty, but we are fostering I mean, it's not about fostering poverty, but they are loving work. And allow me to continue. We have Sweden. Sweden gave people opportunities to work, improved the schools, and definitely the economy of the country boosted by 20%. Isn't that a good thing? And in China, after revolution and industrial revolution, China were capable of lifting up 800 millions of people under the poverty, because that's not because they gave them poverty, but it's because they initiated industrialization that gave them opportunities to work. And definitely, we are standing in the proposition of this motion saying that systematic processes should be put in place instead of giving charity that is going to save your life today, instead of saving the life of next generation. Because, for instance, if we put on the schools, they are going to study, they get good jobs, and they will work. They will work to prevent the poverty. But if I give you one bread, it's a loaf of bread, you eat today, right, and you are really satisfied. But what about tomorrow? Are you going to eat the loaf of bread that I gave you? Absolutely not yet. But if I give you school, you study, and next day you will go to work and get money that will make you go out of poverty instead of staying in poverty. Taking, for instance, some countries in Libya are always being given donations, right? But they are not succeeding. What if we build one market and one shop for them to work? Absolutely, they would have stepped forward. And thank you, I rest my case.
Thank you. Thank you for your speech. Let me welcome the second opposition speaker to take the floor.
My time starts now. Good afternoon, everyone, and dear judges. I'm by the names of Zorme Imwezima as the second speaker from Team Opposition. First of all, I would rather first refute what the proposition said. They said about, if I give you a loaf of bread today, and what are you going to eat tomorrow? So, dear judges, they said that poverty is caused by what? That lack of education, lack of jobs. Let's assume that those schools are there. Are you going to study without eating? Impossible. And then the second is, they said about that if I give you a loaf of bread, as I was saying, but I would rather advise to you, dear speakers, that we are fighting to end poverty. Your systematic reform, you are drafting a picture of a beautiful systematic reform, but when they're drafting these policies, they're ignoring those people who are starving. First of all, dear judges, first feed me and then I will go to work. Because charity saves lives immediately. According to the World Food Program, food aid reaches over 150 million people annually, and then that is not theory, it's survival. They continue about saying that we are going to implement something for 3 years, for outcoming future 3 years. So, first of all, you have to know that poverty is actually caused by systematic change because it's slow and politically unrealistic. So, judges, imagine, they're saying that they're going to end poverty in a corrupt government, in a war-zone government. So imagine, how are you going to build a school in Ukraine while in 1 second it's going to be down? Allowed?
Thank you, the current speaker. You are talking about that. How are you going to build those schools in Ukraine and then are going to be shut down? Here, what I want to tell you that if there is well structured and those poverty will not be there, and if it is structured, those conflicts will not be there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear speaker, but I want to address to you that, okay, if that's what you've chosen, first go in Ukraine, tell them to stop wars, and then you build your reforms. Another thing, if systemic reform is only solution, why do millions escape poverty every year through NGO and charitable interventions? Again, dear judges, they said they brought something that VUP. Yes, dear judges, but is VUP not giving what something that you're going to have in order to perform that job? We are ending poverty, dear judges. And how can we end poverty? Is it through charity or is it systemic reform? Ending poverty requires something with your own strength. Dear judges, a government or a person who is not fit, you can't tell him to go and work. And then the second, I can't come to debate while I'm hungry. Where can I get that voice? While my own voice is the one going to raise the government, and the government is going to be developed. And if the government is developed, which means that also the poverty is going to be ended. Then, dear judges, while waiting for revolution, who feeds the poor? The time is over in my last minute. And then, the conclusion, judges, this debate is not about idealism, it's about impact. Systemic reform is desirable, but charity is indispensable, and something indispensable can't be dismissed. I second you for practically, immediately, and for humanity. I rest my case.
Thank you so much to our second opposition speaker. We will now welcome the third opposition speaker to continue the debate.
Dear moderator, dear judges, and those at large, good afternoon. My name is Nadia from said proposition. Today's motion states that this House believes that ending poverty requires systemic change rather than charity. First, I want to tell you this. Imagine, I can give you today food and shelter. But what about tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm going to lose food and shelter. What about the future? So the future are going to be damaged. So my best point is charity is temporary while systemic change is permanent. In Uganda we have a program, systemic program which is Vision 2020 and Vision 2015, which is encouraging systemic change which will help people to succeed. We don't, the what I that vision. In the first decade, when Rwanda was not have that vision. After having that vision, Rwanda has increased about 80% in socio-economic status. The second is charity claim dependence. If someone like NGO give you today a food and shelter, you are going to depend on them. So you are going to say that even tomorrow I will going to have that food. But if it becomes the systemic change, you are going to learn how can I get the job, how can I have that. Also this can create innovation. Why charity can create dependence? Yes, Lord.
Thank you, the speaker. But I want to ask you something. If you're advising or advocating or even lying to this audience that you are going to put a systemic reform, who is going to have an advantage? Who is going to gain from that systemic reform while all people are dead? Who?
Thank you very much. In our house, we are just thinking about the next generation. Remember, also systemic change is where include also charity. In the systemic change include charity. So why if you are just talking about charity alone, but in our house also a systemic change include charity. In that case also systemic change can go with charity. The second is about the last minute is protected. It's about sustainability development require reforms, not charity. For example, in terms of sustainable development goals, where we have zero hunger, where we have no poverty, it require
Time.
Thanks, I rest my case.
Thank you so much to our third proposition speaker. We will now welcome the third opposition speaker to take the stage.
Afternoon, that my from team opposition side.
On to
Afternoon, dear respected is Akariza Eliminata from team opposition. Today we stand firmly to oppose the motion which said that this house believes that ending poverty requires change rather than charity. Dear judges, let me first refute about the proposition side. First, charity is not brand, but charity is people's life who are starving today. Secondly, he brought case study in Brazil where the systemic change has improved to 25 million people from poverty. But here in the Bangladesh, the charity has improved, has entered poverty for 100 million for people. This means 75 million are more than systematic change in ending poverty. Dear judges, deny it. And dear judges, they claim that the systemic change grants right, but right without capacity is a meaningless. And because in fragile state, the most functioning mechanism is charity. Because people are struggling, they accept it.
Thank you, the current speaker. I would like to inquire from you this question, which was led by your participant, that now how are we doing in schools? Now, why do we need charity when we have to fight against it? When we establish this systematic change, we are preventing it. Why do we need those donations?
Thank you for your question. We need donation to protect life of people today, not for future generation. If you are insisting that for future generation are there we addressing, what about today's generation? They are judging tonight. I have brought case study from Bangladesh where 100 million of people were left from the poverty. The Bangladesh has decreased the poverty from 40% in 1991 up to 13% in 2022. This showed that charity has ended poverty rather than systematic change. Dear judges, second case study, it is in microfinance individuals. There is some institution which provide charities from microfinance, education, healthcare, which will build the future generation through charity. Dear judges, poverty is urgent and systematic change is too slowly, but charity work now and protect people's lives and building skills and opportunity where government cannot or will not able to provide. Dear judges, I list my case.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to the third opposition speaker. So we will alternate. We will now welcome back the opposition for their reply speech. Proposition also be getting ready. Reply speech is 2 minutes and POI is not allowed. Thank you.
My time starts now. Good afternoon, and I'm here back as the second speaker from Team Opposition to make a replying speech. First of all, the motion stating that this House believes that ending poverty requires systemic change rather than charity. First of all, we actually provided what charity is doing because we are fighting to save lives, which the proposition failed to tackle. And the judges, they brought about the tomorrow's generation, which was tackled by the opposition. And then, dear judges, I want to make this clear. First, the proposition, the third speaker stated one very important quote. He said that, she said that in systemic reform, we have charity. Let's bring our minds back. In systemic reform, there is charity, meaning that in their systemic reform that they are addressing, there is also charity, which means that they are on our side because they want to address charity, and which we are also addressing for. So, dear judges, we actually provided truly evidences because we tried to show you that charity that you are bringing is going to end poverty, not only poverty but also saving people's lives, which actually the proposition weren't able to tackle. And dear judges, we don't go any far. I think that we took the debate because we truly proved to you our case. And dear judge, consider the beautiful quote stated by the third speaker. I rest my case.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's welcome the reply speech from the proposition side. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you again, the chairperson. I'm called Kwiza Janvier from proposition side. As a reminder, a charity is anything, donations that are given to a country or to a certain number of people by an international organization or any well-wishers. Now comes Giringa. Giringa is a program of Rwanda that gives 1 cow per poor family. In case this is giving 1 cow per poor family, and definitely Rwanda is a well-wisher because it is wishing goods for the people of Rwanda. And we talked about donations. You talked about donations and saying that donations save life. If we are really relying on those bodies that are saving life, what if they crash? Taking for instance, Bill Gates used to give some donations in America, but he was on the first position on wealthy people on the earth, but now he's the third. And we talked about many points. We talked about scalability and efficiency, saying that we are looking far more than today. We are protecting the next generation. We also talked about the successful testimony of China that lifted among 800 people from poverty because of industrialization, which was not done by charity. We also talked about ending dependency. Most of the time we depend on that. Taking for instance, if they give us clothes to wear today, it will even end industrialization, textile industry in Rwanda. But if we establish the industry and the workers are working in that industry, they will boost the economy, enhancing the reduction of poverty in people. And to end, I want to ask you, Instead of giving a farmer 500 kilos of grains for today and investing in extensive farming that he will do and provide the economy to the country and even end poverty, what would you do? Thank you. I rest my case.
Thank you so much. Bring my microphone. Thank you so much to the reply speech from Team TTC.